A magician cannot and should not state that theory or any model of the supernatural world is reality. However, one can, if one has the understanding and vocabulary, state that there is a reality that has only temporary validity. We accept that there are certain models of the way that the supernatural world seems to operate under certain circumstances. We do not see them as facts for the purposes of our operations, but merely useful. For instance, at times it seems that there is but one consciousness in the world, and that humans are merely condensed cells in its brain. Therefore, every creation of the human mind, be it fantastical or a personification of events, sociological, psychological, religious or spiritual, exists in some seemingly real manner, and can be called upon in the form of an entity or spirit through carefully designed prayer, meditation and ritual. We only accept this worldview during our magical activities, and not before and not after. We theorize that beings exist in this global and possibly universal consciousness directly proportional to the quantity of belief or exposure that the minds of humans have had to these ideas. A god of war may exist, for instance, due to the quantity of war on the face of the planet. Angels, demons, and dragons seem to exist due to their appearance in literature, religion, sci-fi, and folklore. At times they may be physically bound to a location, object, or person, but at other times they may be free roaming and can be called upon at will. We assume that these beings can create that which is of their own nature and affect that which is of their own character and rank. For instance, a goddess of cats can communicate more readily with little Moggy than a goddess of elephants. However, we can also choose to accept the fact that the entity that we have summoned, despite all appearances, might in fact be another being altogether, and as such our results might become flawed. Under those circumstances, we accept that improvements in our ritual preparation might be in order. We also state that it is difficult for us to ascertain whether these entities are in our own minds and only exert a force via psychosomatic, psychokinesis, or have any separate existence at all. It's purely theoretical. However, we treat them in ritual and meditation as if they were separate. All fictional entities in this respect are essentially real when the magician chooses to care for them. As a magician, it becomes fun and important to become involved in the research of folklore, herbalism, spiritual healing, spiritualism, neuro-linguistic programming, psychology, sociology, psychoanalysis, and many other schools of thought, and to read heavily into them. Many other add-ons that add to your understanding of the natural world can be very important and can put some real form on your experiences and understanding of the universe. The phrase, "it works," demonstrates extreme stupidity. A magician never states that the results of any form of magical activity can be created with the absolute certainty or with the reliability of switching on a light switch. Failure or variability is always an option, and there has been, to the author's knowledge, no proper analysis of which factors create 100% reliable results. Magic remains experimental, but we always seek to make notes of what has transpired so that in the future other better equipped scientists and magicians can analyze our experimental data. We remain for the moment guinea pigs in our own experimental laboratory. We refer to the studies of parapsychology, not for corroboration of our beliefs, for as a magician we need no beliefs because we do paradigm shifts, but for a more in-depth analysis of what may be the necessary theoretical factors in creating certain phenomena. If we don't understand the language of the studies, we seek to study and research to the point whereby we can understand them and to discourse freely on the subjects. A magician does not, must not, and should not deride any religion. But the magician can propose other points of view that a more extremely dogmatic religious person might need to hear. Whether your assessment that the religious person does actually need to hear what you are trying to tell them is correct or not is up to you. However, the magician accepts that he or she might suffer criticism and attack from religious people for doing so. Most humans need a deity concept to keep themselves sane. It isn't always a good idea to take a comfort blanket from a baby unless you have a very good set of ear protectors. We use religious ideas, imagery, words, prayers, symbologies, and the like as tools, and not as, for, or to support any article of faith. The magician accepts that even the religion that the magician hates the most might have in its more esoteric teachings something that can be of intellectual or emotional benefit to the magician. The magical concept of God is a concept beyond human understanding, a concept beyond conceptualization. Even the name or word God is idolatrous by comparison to this concept. The magician shuns idolatry in its religious conceptualization, except whereby operations of magic in ceremony, meditation, or visualization require the use of imagery or idols when necessary to achieve specific results. So, it's not a worship thing, it's a tool. Using idols or imagery from the point of view of a magician is not worship, as we do not seek to bring ourselves to a point of worthiness to a personified supernatural being. Entities serve us and not the other way around. The only exception to this rule is the supreme God that is beyond conceptualization. But even then, at times, we need to see ourselves as separate entities following our will and not the will of the God in question. Organized religion is essentially organized idolatry, a social and psychological necessity for humanity rather than a necessary evil. A magician, whether he or she likes it or not, is on a path of self-development. This path is called life. He or she accepts that although self-development and magic are completely separate ideas, self-development can at times assist in the production of certain effects and the maintenance of sanity. The magician, if he or she so desires, may use all the imagery, ceremonials, and concepts of the world religions that he or she can, or those that he or she can creatively design, or none at all, and to do so without hypocrisy. The magician accepts that all religious imagery, be it visual such as a crucifix or auditory such as a mantra, or of any other form, is essentially idolatry, and as such is a fiction and not the truth. But it is a truth that can be used as a tool to reach certain states of mind. Practical exploration of different states of mind is to be encouraged. The magician accepts that altered states of consciousness are vital for the development of any supernatural effects. These states are created by prayer, meditation, and a wide variety of religious and occult practices. We are encouraged to experiment, as there is no hard and fast method to reliably create specific results. We research all the methods spoken of by religious, magical, and spiritual groups and build our world of views based upon experience, and have the humility to realize that at times we can be wrong. The psychic developmental exercises that are part of magic are very much about creating changes in the brain and the body of the magician to the point whereby eventually one can say that the magician is a separate type of human individual with different brain functioning, different connectivity between body and mind, and as a result of the development, possession of strange abilities and perceptions that normal individuals do not possess. We explain this rationally by the natural and testable phenomenon known as neuroplasticity. We agree that over time, natural science may come to understand these changes in accordance with similar testable methodologies.